So we've just stopped for a bit of lunch and now we're getting back to it. Not quite sure what the afternoon holds just yet, but I guess we're about to find out.
We played around a little bit in the marina, so we can look to take the boat outside, have a little bit of a blast around, just get used to the handling of the boat at high speed, and then we'll move on. Once we've done some of that, we'll do on to sort of man overboard recovery, where we're going to throw a fender in.
Not a person.
Not a person. You don't have to go swimming today.
You've got a spare, haven't you?
Alright, I'm setting the cars right. Just I find myself just doing living working. Okay, excellent. So we'll just pick up the funnel and we'll slide back. We must have had a lot for lunch. Here we go. So we're going to go out to the open sea. As we look at the forecast, the waves, we're not expecting much waves, fairly calm conditions. But we're going to make sure the boat's prepared ourselves. So we brought in the fenders, the line at the bow, we just need to tie that off to make sure it doesn't bounce into the water when we're going along. Obviously anything loose on the boat is just going to batter around. I'm going to then just do a quick high-speed demo, alright, and then you can have a little bit of a play. Now the great thing with ribs is that they can have a very deep V hull, which makes them very, very stable at high speed, cuts through the waves, and when you turn them, they stick to the water very well. So it can be very different though in a different style of boat. Okay. More shallow keel, shallow V hull. When you turn, it can feel a lot. Essentially, you can skip out of the turn a lot easier. Okay. So just be aware you are in a sort of a boat that is so forgiving at higher speeds compared to perhaps another style of boat. Gradually increasing, the wave at the back of the boat is quite big. Now we get to the point where it will overtake its own wave, and that's called planing. And that's where the boat tends to sit flatter. It's overtaking its own wave, and as I increase the speed, look at the bow, it's going to start dropping down. Now we're planing. Yeah,
There it is.
there we go.
Okay.
Excellent. Brilliant. As you can see, the ribs, you know, just the seaworthiness
Yeah.
is amazing. So
Super ride. Fantastic.
what we'll do then, we'll just look at a man overboard situation. So person, still say man overboard, it should be person overboard.
Of course. Gender
Really,
indeterminate
gender
person
neutral
has
overboard.
jumped overboard to escape the fire.
To escape the fire, exactly. But in that situation, you'll probably no one will be left on the boat. I would think, to then go and recover. So we'll just be happy we've got our life jackets on. So, first of all, I suppose with man overboard or person overboard, really it shouldn't happen. First of all, so that's sort of, I've never had someone fall off a boat.
Yeah.
I've
Starting
been
position is keep everybody on board.
So really the key thing is not to have anyone fall in, and that's all going to be because of one, people have just been sat in bad positions, not prepared. For example, you know, on a river, the classic one would be this.
Yeah.
You know, this is bad. Obviously they're bouncing on the tubes if they just let go slightly, and then obviously there's a big chopping up mixer at the back of the boat. So we want to always avoid someone falling in sort of close proximity. The handiest thing really to do is for someone to point to the person in the water, because if someone's in the water, it doesn't take much of a wave to then, you know, every other second for them
Obscure
to disappear.
them and
Yeah, and then you get things like when the sun's low, the sort of glaring of the sun, it can be very hard to pick someone out. Okay. Just bring my speed down slowly. I'm keeping it in gear. Okay, keep pointing at it. Alright. So for me, it's a little bit easier if I bring the person on this side because I've got good visibility of them there. Alright. Now I'm not rushing in here, I don't want lots of waves, I don't want to overcook it with the speed. I'll be shouting to them, checking they're alright. If I had other crew on board, I'd be calling up the Coast Guard. Now, so I'm coming gently, and I'm just now positioning myself. I've got the wind coming that direction, so side onto the wind, and there's our man overboard. Turn the engine off. And then when they come to the side of the boat's not going to go over the top of them. They'll act as like a sea anchor. The boat will the bow will turn downwind. That's, you know, the worst that will happen. But at the back of the boat, it's easier to retrieve someone because it's lower in the water. You know, obviously we've got the ladder there, so we would drop that down and bring them in from there.
is everybody hanging on?
Oh yes.
Don't be tempted to turn down towards them. You want to keep the boat side on. And here you want to come into neutral now, otherwise you'll keep driving past them. And then you'll probably need a little bit of reverse just to stop the boat keep going forward. And just let the boat settle down. You don't want to go too crazy, otherwise you know lots of reverse and you have to do lots of forward. So just let it gently come back and line them up. It's fine. Just let the boat settle, because you'll find here you might then go too far back and then you have to go forward again. So it's where you have to be subtle with it.
Reverse to bite.
Yeah, but you
I'm
again.
going to mow them down now.
Now you have to turn up this way. So just to get the boat backside on. That's it.
Come on.
And bring the throttle back down. Just remember that way on the boat will just keep it going. Right, there you go. You're looking good.
So at some point I've got to turn on the engine.
Yeah, so when you're happy, I think that looks pretty good to me.
You know, maybe not necessarily today, but I think that would be a good one to practice
Yeah, sure.
with
Yeah.
smugglers.
Yep.
Can I pop that Murphy there, is that alright?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see the key thing is, you know, you're not going to do them any more harm in picking them up, you know, running them over, etc. So,
Yeah.
you know, obviously there, it's easy to
Yeah, overshoot.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't have that little burst of reverse, you know, that would have been perfect. So
Yeah.
just be very gentle with it, because
Yeah.
it's just small bits, small nudges forwards and backwards.
And I
really.
think I still don't fully have the measure of exactly what does what in terms of like how far back will it really pick
Yeah,
up reverse and
yeah,
then
totally.
start lurching back.
But no, that's excellent. We've got our person back on board. That's
Okay.
what counts.
Champion.
So we'll cover charts in the morning tomorrow more, but we can have a quick look to see our navigation around there. You know, from what you saw on the paper chart earlier on, same sort of display, you know, and we can zoom in to get more detail where we want to go. So the key thing is really we just want to do a little bit of assessment of what we want to, where we want to go. You've got your little boat here on the display, the red line going down. Telling you how much off the line you are. You know, you can see how that ribs line, they're at anchor at the moment, so that's probably the direction you would have to approach the mooring buoy. So that's your sort of clue.
Okay.
Is the angle for approach. And then really it's just a case of slowly approaching it.
This is utterly not the direction I thought it was going to go. Never mind, this is what I'm now doing. What do I do? I thought I was going to go around the other side.
Clear the marker buoy, it's fine. Just let it go. Because there's not a lot of wind or tide.
Yeah.
Coming in nicely.
Are you going to be able to stretch?
Perfect.
Don't want to turn this over.
There. Just a little dab in reverse. We have her on.
Well done.
Lunch on set.
So we can, whilst we're here, we can just have a look. So we've got our depth, so that's reading from the water line. So 7 meters of water here. Okay.
Holding on. I want to rescue you, but I can't do that now.
We get everything ready, and then we can get the boat in the position we want, and then we
Okay.
can just drop the anchor. So we'll go through all the different types of anchor, but the principle is pretty much the same. This is a delta, so it's essentially works like a plough. So it's crucial that when the anchor is on the seabed, that this chain essentially then will go along flat with the seabed and pull it into the seabed. If you don't lay your anchor, if you don't have chain, your anchor will just pull out all the
So
time.
you
with
need
the
enough
rate.
chain to lie on the seabed.
Exactly. So the basic rule is if you've got all chain, it's about around 3 times the depth. If
Okay.
it's anchor, chain and warp, the rope, then it's 6 times the depth. Okay. So that's then through there. Then we want all the rope out ready. If you've got no wind or no tide, sometimes you reverse the boat slowly back. Not
See
at
if it's
speed,
bitten.
but just a little, yeah. And then, you know, give it a little bit of reverse just to dig the anchor in once you've secured it. Now, with the wind as it's doing now, obviously you don't want to drag. I mean, if you've got the wind often with an anchorage, if it's blowing you on the shore, obviously if it starts to drag, then you're going to go up on the beach pretty quickly, or some rocks. That's why, you know, really you want, for the sea state as well, the wind blowing from the land off, or just a very calm day, because then you'll get, if you're dragging, you're getting dragging out to sea, which obviously is such a big deal.
Yeah.
So leaving our anchor, it's really just the opposite. Okay, we get the engine obviously running first of all.
Right. All set.
All set. Let's take this talkie.
Hang on.
Don't see in the east or northeast. Excellent, well done. That seconds down.
Yeah. Who knew?
So, do you want to just do a quick
Yeah,
coming
absolutely.
alongside? I mean, I think this is still full again, so we're probably best going. Let's go around to the same area. So remember what you would do. You would prepare. So we'd have fenders out,
Yeah.
mooring line sorted, crew informed of the plan.
Think about my exit strategy.
Yeah, think about the exit strategy. So nothing's changed with the wind. Don't turn into it too much because you're going to have the wind pushing you sideways a little bit. So you want to keep that short. So keep it out a little bit. A little nudge forward. That's it.
If I do that, and then I'm pushing my bow out. Is that right?
So that will just bring the stern in. So your stern's already in quite a lot, so
Okay.
they're fine. That's it. You stop next to it. That's great.
Okay.
You're not in neutral though. That's
Oh, there.
it's finding that neutral.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Hang on.
That's it. So reverse out. Remember, you're always going sideways at the back of the wind. So here, yeah, that's it, and that's enough. And then you're just going to put it in nicely. No more needed. Brilliant. And kissing the pontoon, as it were. Cool. Voila! Fine way to-
Perfect. Well done.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Neutral. I'm going to just take this off so I can give it to you.
yeah, yeah.
Are you done now?
That's it now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm landing on my positive
Quickly,
note.
you're going to quit while you're ahead.
100%. Leaving the tours. Nobody drowned.
No, didn't catch fire.
Nothing caught fire. Oh.
Variable 3 or less.
Are you here to offer advice? No. You can tell me who's getting it
I'm
wrong.
not sure he's doing this right.
No.
2 knots of tide coming down the river, as it were. And we know that when we're in neutral, we've got no steerage.
Yeah.
But the great thing is, the 2 knots of tide, if I'm going 2 knots into it, I'm not physically moving over the land.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've got 2 knots of
you've got
speed,
the
so I've got
manoeuvrability.
steerage. Yeah, so it makes it, you can actually almost just glide sideways, call it ferry gliding, onto the pontoon.